Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome back to Bariatrics and Beyond PJ edition. So I hope you're in your PJs. If you're not, go get in your PJs, pull up a seat, get comfy, grab a drink, a healthy snack, because on today's episode, we are talking about dating after weight loss surgery. And I have some guests today. That's why we're in the comfy couch section. So we have co-host Nicole, and then we have Jodi, who are both past patients. Nicole's Dr. Espino's facelift coordinator. So,
yep.
But the other thing about you guys, so Vegas locals, right? But the other thing about you two, you got a really big birthday, both of you coming up in the
Jesus.
next.
Yeah, you're right.
We have to bring that up, but yes, we do. we are planning big stuff already. Hers comes first. She's older, just saying.
Like a week. How much older are you? Like
what is it? No, a couple of weeks, right? What are you?
Yeah, May 6th.
Yeah, May 6th. Oh, that's right. A complete month because I'm April 6th. Yeah.
So they both turn 50, you guys.
5-0.
They don't look it. You guys look amazing.
I don't feel it.
She's had the good work. I'm working on.
She's working on the good work.
Good work.
She knows the guy.
Young. Listen, I'm 25 in the head, so I mean, let's be real.
21.
That's very generous, Nicole. 25 in the head.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still 25.
You're about 18 in the head.
Oh well, then.
No,
whatever. I'm versatile.
So, but let's talk about it, because what I love about this dynamic, this group here, is that we all have had weight loss surgery, but we all had different starting points and different mentalities. So, do you guys want to like introduce yourselves and share a little bit about your weight issues and then your weight loss story? So you go first, Nicole.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Okay. So I'm Nicole. I'm Kayla's sister. I'm 50. I would say like growing up when I was in, I'm trying to keep this as brief as possible, but I would say
we got a whole 50 years. It's going to be a while. No, just
when I was, I would say when I was at school, I was probably always the heavier kid in school. But in saying that, I wasn't really that heavy, right? No. I was just heavy compared to my friends. And so I was probably more athletic and on the like thicker side.
Yeah, you were definitely athletic.
I was athletic. Yeah,
build.
I was an athletic build.
Skinny stick.
Right. But I wasn't, overweight. But I remember I always used to get picked on for my thighs, right? I used to always get called thunder thighs. And so that was always the thing sort of growing up. And then after school, I used to dance a lot. So I was pretty active. And so I maintained sort of a steady weight. And then sort of grew into it in a sense, right? So I was never really necessarily overweight, but I was always a little bit heavier than my girlfriends who were skinny, right? So then I would say probably the last, I want to say 10 years, because how long has it been since I've had weight loss surgery? It's been a good 3 or 4. Yeah, so maybe 5 years before that. So like maybe 10 years. I developed actually a thyroid. My family had it. My mom, Kayla, had it. My sister had it. I got it much later in life. And I'm not going to say that I put on weight because I had thyroid. That wasn't it. I had a thyroid issue that I didn't know about. And I just started getting really tired. So then I started getting lazy and I didn't want to go to the gym and I didn't want to work out. And I was on tour at the time and I didn't want to, we'd do shows. I was tired. I'd go to sleep. I wouldn't train. And so my lifestyle sort of changed a little bit. And I didn't sort of know why. I just knew I was tired. So I will contribute putting on weight to being tired and being lazy. And then that I corrected that.
So what was your heaviest?
201.
So you got up to 201, but it wasn't until you reached about 40 something, right? So you were relatively athletic build and didn't have any weight issues until your early
maybe
40s.
Yeah, to maybe early 40s.
And then you were only overweight for how long? Not that long, only
maybe
years.
5 years.
Okay.
Like 3 years. I was a little bit overweight and I tried keto and stuff like that and I lost maybe 20 pounds. And then we went into COVID and it's not an excuse, but I didn't care. I was still lazy. I just didn't want to train. And then
so you're a late gainer in life.
Yeah,
Okay. And what about
I'm 5'3", so I'm quite short. So I think after COVID, I went to Australia and it was summer, it was Christmas, and then I saw some videos of myself, right? And I just didn't. I remember coming back and I remember thinking that doesn't look like me. Like I just didn't recognize myself in the photos because I'd never looked like that, right? And I think it was like 10 days later, I'm like, that's it, I'm going for surgery. Because I was already working for the company, right? Like I'd already seen how the process worked and I was like, that's it, I'm just doing it. And I was much smaller on the BMI scale than most people. But I knew that people with that BMI could do it. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And I just went in and I did it. And then next minute for me, the first 6 months, I was sort of back to my goal weight anyway. So I'm not going to say my journey was a little bit shorter than most people's, but I just got back to where I was,
But that's the beauty, I think, with weight loss surgery, especially nowadays, and it being a lot more accessible for people now. You don't have to be that, 300, 400, 500 pound person to have weight loss surgery, because I will admit, when Nicole was like, I want to do the surgery, and I've seen her be skinny to me, the skinny sister, her whole life. I'm like, this is not fair. Why did I have to struggle my whole life being morbidly obese? And she wants the surgery, and then I'm like, hang on a second, rock bottom feels the same to everyone, right? And she
no matter where
bottom.
no matter where that is,
right? So I had to take that judgment out of my head and be like, well, she hit a rock bottom and she wants it. So
and my rock bottom looks different to yours,
right? But everyone's rock bottom feels pretty much the same. What about you, Jodi?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Your rock bottom is your rock bottom, and I say it often. Comparison is the thief of joy. But
that's a good saying.
Yeah, I say that all the time too.
Because my journey is incredibly unique, and there's nobody that had my journey, and probably nobody that had your journey, and close or whatever, but unique. I grew up in Southern California. My dad worked in entertainment. It was Hollywood industry, right? I grew up with the unrealistic expectation of Hollywood in Southern California, and the stereotypical California blonde. I was a little towhead growing up, but
What's a towhead?
Towhead, we were the super, super blonde people.
Well, okay.
I joke with people and I say when my hair would get wet until I was about 10, it would disappear. It was that blonde.
Right.
So they call them towheads. I got my Aussie friends here. I'll translate. You can translate the Aussie lingo.
Yeah.
But so, I grew up, I was kind of chubby always, as a kid. I was kind of chubby. I have a distinct memory of me wearing a little nightgown, believe it or not, PJ party we're having, but a little nightgown. And I had a Disney belt. And I remember putting it on as tight as I can be. And my mom had curled my hair. And I put it on super, super tight. And I felt okay, and I was probably 5, and I have a picture of it. There's a picture in my parents' house of it. And I love the picture, but I remember the frame of mind.
Right.
At 5, if this was only what I could do all the time, or why can't I get to this?
Yeah.
And, God bless my parents. They tried. My mother, they tried to see, to help me with this and this diet, this and this. And I was a highly active person, totally athletic, played serious competitive volleyball for 25 years.
Wow.
Division I college scholarships, All-American titles, but I was fat the whole time. And there was no fixing it. No matter what people did and I'm smart, no matter what I knew I was supposed to do, I couldn't fix it. I tried, literally pretty much every single thing that came out on the market in terms of diets or medications. I remember even in high school, I did the fen thing, and then they said, whoops, really bad for your heart. You're like, oh, uh-oh.
Anyways.
Yeah. Who wants to live?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So, I tried everything. So I was overweight my whole life. And around highly fit women and men.
Growing up in Hollywood.
Can I ask that? But you were fit, right?
I was super fit. I was the fittest fat person I knew.
Right.
But I was fat. I could outplay, outlift, sometimes even outrun most of even the fit. But I was just fat. And I was obese, on the scale, on the BMI, I was obese, but not crazy. I saw myself probably as bigger. But I definitely was obese on the scale, playing in high school and college volleyball at 5'7" on a good day at over 200 pounds was, a big thing. And I have these women that were all girls and women that were all muscle and at 160. And why can't I get there? And that kind of stuff. So it was, it was definitely hard. And then as I got a little bit older and the volleyball stopped or decreased. I didn't play at that competitive level. The scale went up where probably it would have been had I not been the person that I was. And then, I went, I was getting my graduate degree to become a women's health nurse practitioner and certified nurse midwife back east at Yale. And I was definitely my highest. I certainly stopped weighing on the scale because I knew it was going on, but like went and, had to get on blood pressure medication, was there stressed out beyond belief, which was part of the blood pressure issue, but definitely the weight. Yeah. And then right at the end of school, I was getting all my checks done, like, I have this great insurance. Let me do my, women's visit, my primary visit, my dermatology visit. And I was diagnosed with malignant melanoma right at the end of my graduate degree. And I had to have this massive surgery, radical wide excision of this melanoma on my back, a 5.5-hour surgery. Definitely eye-opening. And when I was going into surgery, I was more afraid that I was going to die from anesthesia because of my unhealth versus dying from the melanoma, which I had caught at a very early stage. They tried to dismiss it and I kept saying, this is bothering me. And lo and behold, it was. So I had this surgery, came home, recovered from that. And then that's sort of when I was starting to think about, I thought about it my whole life, my parents were very supportive. They, when the lap band came out, they, talked about that. But the cost, the cost in the States was outrageous. And the hoops that you had to go through, through the insurance, and especially back then was, very grandiose and unlikely. And so I remember it very well. It was Christmas time of December 2017. And I had, for years, probably off and on, I do this research, and I had come across a Newsweek article about Dr. Ortiz.
Oh, nice.
And I thought, and it's right down, an hour and 45 minutes from where you were, from where I grew up. And I very much in passing said it to my mother, and she said, okay. Nice. And she threw down the, 5-ish, whatever it was. And like,
how old were you at that time?
So I was 42.
Yeah, okay.
So you're both around the same age.
Yeah.
So let me ask, because we want to talk about dating and because you both are single, right? We're all single
currently,
and never been married.
No,
right? So let's talk about dating. Being a plus size person, and Nicole, you weren't a plus size person, but when you did become plus size, like, did you how is the dating scene? And then I want to talk about dating and life after weight loss surgery when you've become this new person. How is that? Because they say, I think it's between like 8 and 13% of marriages or relationships fail after weight loss surgery. And I want to kind of like get everyone's opinion on why we think that happens, because as obviously it's a physical shift, but there's also a huge mental shift too. Now I will go on the record and say I am a statistic because I was married and I am no longer married.
I feel like I'm an abnormality.
Well, aren't we all?
I really am.
I don't know why we're single ladies. Anyone know why we're single?
Take a look at us.
Last night we're texting like, what are we going to wear on the podcast?
Meanwhile, it's not Christmas.
It's not Christmas.
And we live in Las Vegas.
What are we going to wear on the podcast tomorrow? And everyone's like, we got to dress up. And I was like, do you just want to wear PJs? And they're like, say less.
We have a very different idea of pajamas.
And they're like, I'm still in my Christmas onesie. And I'm like, well.
No, listen, it's freezing. Like, okay, freezing to Vegas is like 30 degrees. Right? Right. It's not free. Well, there was snow on the mountains, I think, but this is as cold as our pajamas get. Yeah. But meanwhile, we sleep with a fan on. But no, these are the most comfortable pajamas I had. Do you know what I mean?
Anyhow, we're derailing. I want to talk about dating.
We do that.
Like, how was the love life like growing up?
Do you want me to go first?
All of us. Look, mine is. Look, okay, you ready? Don't blink because you'll miss it. Here's my love life. Non-existent. Done. So
no, let's be real. Let's talk about what about yours? Like what you know what I mean? Like
so for me, I'll just be real quick. My morbidly obese my whole life. Came out big. I did. Like I didn't ever gain weight. I was just always
big.
morbidly obese, not even obese, at the age of like 4, 5, 6, morbidly obese.
Mhm.
Anyhow, youngest of 3 girls, parents were always like, oh, where are we going wrong, you know? But, you know, we're different. Everyone's different. And I've got a disease. I have obesity, which is a disease, but I also have lipedema, which I have had since childhood. So back then in the 90s, no one knew what that was. So
Especially
for
in
me,
Australia.
yeah. So for me, I don't know any other way. I did not know any other way, but that's just who I've always been, right? But then there was this one little thing, one little person, and her name was Barbie. And I looked at her and I was like, I love her. She had everything that just made me happy. Her dresses were amazing, her shoes, her hair, her everything. I was just like, oh, going through childhood and not having access to any of things that looked like, I didn't look like her, but she was always so fun. But she was like, you know, you can be anything, right? So I was like, how do I not necessarily look like her, but have this much fun? So I embraced this is who I am. I tried every diet from 5 years old. I think I was on Weight Watchers at 5, you know, like the points is like.
Do you have Weight Watchers in America?
Yeah, they have
Okay.
Weight Watchers, yeah. But I always was just like, well, this is what I look like, but why can't I still dress like her? So Barbie taught me how to be very creative and eclectic. Hello, like these are my PJs.
Kayla would literally
love
make
it.
her own
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah,
like-
I was
I love it.
So Barbie taught me to be super creative person at such a young age. Like I remember hot gluing things to like, oh, black pants. Well, I'm going to hot glue bows to it. Like I just remember doing
safety
that.
pins.
So, and then from that, people looked at me like at school, I never got picked on. And I don't know if it's because I had older sisters that were like the popular girls. So it was like, oh, she's Nicole's sister, you know. So I've always ridden Nicole's towel coats, like
No.
I'm Nicole's sister. But you know, but I never got picked on. People would always come to me and they'd be like, oh, wow, your hair's really cool. Oh my gosh, like you're, you know, sunglasses, you're this, you're that. And I got like Fashion Princess Award at school. Like and I was school captain. So I had this confidence of like, this is who I am and I'm rocking it. So I've always been very confident with who I am as a person. And also because I like to think I'm a good person. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
makes a difference.
and like I'm inclusive. I like to include everybody and just like that nice person, because I think that's what's most important is like, just be a good person. Right. So I am very proud of the person that I am. But I had the demon that nobody, I mean, obviously you can see it, but nobody knew that I would fight that internal demon of like, but I am uncomfortable with the way I look, even though I'm rocking it, even though I'm making, like, I was a plus size model. I just didn't have the confidence, especially when it come to dating. You know what I mean?
I remember one time you had said to me that we were talking about, because we'd be in the shopping center and people would look at Kayla and they'd take photos and, you know, we're all bland and we're all wearing black and all wearing, you know, and then Kayla's wearing this bright yellow dress with like big purple flowers and she's like, they're taking photos of me. And I'm like, because like the perspective is different, right? So Kayla's like, why are they taking pictures of me? And I'm like, firstly, because you're beautiful. You're standing here in a bright yellow dress with these freaking big purple flowers and we're in a sea of black. We're all wearing black, right? Like you're gorgeous. Like you have to change the way that you think because,
you know, even though like on the outside I appear very confident and I am to an extent, there's still that demon of like, they're taking photos of me because I'm fat.
Right.
You know
but
what I mean?
you said like, I wear these things to distract people from what?
That's how I
look.
So that's what I was thinking about your Barbie reference. Obviously, we all know how much you love Barbie, and I grew up with Barbie and the same obsession, and I think that she's great. But you know, that internal demon, that thing that you were talking about struggling with, you still looked at the doll, or I would assume you still looked at the doll and went, well, why can't I look like that? Or how come I don't look like
but
that?
I didn't. That's the thing. I never looked at Barbie and went, wow, she's skinny. That never crossed my mind. Like, wow, look at her boobs. Wow, I never compared body images with Barbie. She was just a fashion icon. For me, Barbie was about
the
the
clothes.
fashion.
Yeah, which
we had
is amazing.
Because we had some slim pickings in Kmart in Australia.
Yeah. But you know, like I never looked at Barbie with the body image thing. And I think that's where a lot of people with my story, especially because I have been on some like news articles and things like that, they've said to me, but like, the body image thing, like Barbie portrays a negative body image. And I'm like, I never really looked at Barbie and went, wow, she's skinny and I'm fat. I looked at Barbie and went, how can I dress like that? I knew it wasn't available. But the other thing that Barbie taught me was you could be anything.
Make it. If it's not available, make it.
Why can't I wear this?
You can.
Why can't this be my pajamas at any size? You know what I mean? So I really, for me, Barbie was never a body image thing. I never was like, oh, I want to be skinny like her. I was just like, I want everything like she does.
It was a negative body image.
Did.
It's an unattainable body image.
It's all about
the dynamics
perspective
are different, but it is definitely perspective. But I think my side of it was I lived on I could wear what she's wearing if I was thinner.
No,
right. So that's a different.
No,
that's a
and
different.
my thing was like, why does this not exist for me?
Right.
I'm gonna make it exist. That's why I started. That's how I got into fashion. Like,
right.
I came out in Vegas, and I became a costume designer out here, and it's just
because Kayla's
that's my passion.
I can
fashion
see it.
Is my passion.
I can create it.
If I can see it, I can make it.
So
I don't know how to sew. I'm not a technical sewer, but I just know that I can make it. I can bring it to life.
But you were married first.
So I was married. But you guys, I married my first boyfriend. My first boyfriend at the age of 25. I got my first boyfriend.
Wow.
Yeah. First boyfriend, 25. So, and I will tell you, coming from Australia, moving to America, I feel like being a bigger person was more accepted than in Australia. Because in Australia, the men typically like skinny. Like, I can't speak for everybody, but from my experience, I remember going out and I would always dress better than anyone. I would always have my hair better than anyone. And I would always get overlooked by the skinny girl who's in my opinion, just wearing a dress she just threw on and has no hair or makeup. You know what I mean? But she was skinny. So guys that's just what their eye was more attracted to. But in America, when I came over here and I had a big booty too, and I was like, I was big, but I also had like big curves. So I had big butt. And I remember like shopping in Ross one time and this guy was like, damn girl, that booty. And I was like, that's very rude. And then he's like, no, that's a compliment. That thing's amazing. And I was like, that's rude. That's and I was so offended. And they're like, no, this is nice. And so there were more men out here that like appreciated a thicker, curvy, and bigger, beautiful woman,
Do you remember when we walked, we first went to New York, Kayla got mobbed. I'm talking, we walked down the street. Huh? We walked down the street. I kept walking and next minute Kayla was not there and I looked behind her and she was circled by people. And I'm like, what the heck? She's like, I'm like,
I got a lot of, and people are like, wow, you must get a lot of attention now, like that you've lost weight. I was like, I got way more attention as a big blonde girl than I do now. As I look at me now, like everyone looks like this, So I got way more attention out here when I was a bigger girl. And then that's when I met my ex-husband at a nightclub. We went, oh, great. Love story start on the dance floor.
He was a good dancer.
He is a good dancer.
He's a good dancer.
And I just remember him going, can I dance with you, Jodi? Can I dance with you? And I go, you can dance with us. And it was like bringing Nicole and like my sisters and my friends. And he did. And I was like, oh, bless him, And then he stayed. And then he married me, which was, my first boyfriend. And again, but I also didn't have anything to go by. Not that he was a bad person, but at the end of the day, it's just like, no, now at going through what I've gone through, he was obviously just not my person, right? So we can talk about dating and stuff now, because obviously I married my first boyfriend and now I'm like, got a date, but do I have to? Like, I just don't want to do it. And I don't know how to date in this shell. I only knew how to date in my other body.
I feel like I know how to date. Well, when I say date,
Nicole's got some experience. Come on, Nicole, pull out the resume.
No, I mean, I feel like I would see a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? I'd meet a lot of people. I feel the same as I do now, right? There was a little gap in between maybe those 5 years when I was overweight.
When you were overweight, were you dating anybody?
When I was overweight, I actually had a boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Like that's the wildest thing. Like I never really had boyfriends.
That's right.
I would see people, but I had some
You were never in relationships?
No, because I always felt like I went for people that were I always feel like I went for people that were unavailable.
Nicole likes the
or
bad
that or that would
Nicole likes
date
the
other
F boys.
or
You
that
like
would
the F boys.
right, that were dating other people that I didn't know about, right? And I was just like, yeah, whatever, I really don't care. But really, did I care? I think I cared, right?
So why did you put up that facade?
Well, because at first I really didn't care, you know what I mean? Like, because I didn't know what I want. Like, I feel like the biggest thing that I had to, like, I'm honest, like, and I appreciate honesty, but the biggest thing you needed, well, the most important person that you need to be honest with is yourself. So I had to start to be honest with myself. What is it that I want? I always felt like I was in a good position. I had a good life. I'm really, really happy. I got everything I ever wanted. What do you do when you get everything you ever want? Well, then you think about
Change
what
the goalposts.
what
That's what you do.
right. So I asked a girlfriend of mine, I'm like, what happens when you actually get everything you've ever wanted? She's like, well, you move the goalpost, right? So then I had to think about what moving the goalpost meant. And what it meant was finding somebody to be able to share, not spend my life with, share my life with, right? Because I got a pretty good life. So the only way it's going to get any better is if I had somebody that wanted to share it with me, right? So I used to tour. I was on the road a lot. I remember going to all these places, and I would even ring up Kayla and I'd be like, hey, you should come here. Like, come check out this spot. Like, it's so nice. Like,
But what Nicole would understand at the time is like, I can't fit into a plane seat and I don't have money for 2 tickets. I ain't coming.
Right.
I wouldn't tell her that.
Right.
I told you that once, and you know what she did? She bought me 2 plane tickets. She goes, come on.
yeah, like,
That's a good
come. Like,
sister.
That's
like,
the best sister.
like, I'm like, if, like, I like experiencing things, right? I want my eyes to see things. Like, if this is what my eyes, like, if I'm looking at all this beauty, come and look at all this beauty
Share the
with me,
joy.
right? Share the joy, right? So the only other way life could have been better is if I had somebody to share it with. So I used to date a bunch of people and I used to travel. So I used to, you know, I'd have friends in Chicago, I'd have friends in New York.
Yeah, like
and I'd
Nicole traveled for work. You were like,
I was in a city for 3 days,
2
at a
days, 3
time.
days
Do you know
at
what I
a
mean?
time, all over
But that
the
was for a
world.
period of like 10 years.
So it would be hard to date like that. So
Well,
why,
not really, because then you'd find people that you'd connect with, right? And so every time I go back to Chicago, I connect with the same people.
right, but it's hard to to be in one place and to date like
Right.
really
But
separate.
I don't want to say that because I feel like if I wanted to, or if I had that connection, I could, because I had the freedom to go, you know what? Hey, I'm going to be in New York. Come meet me in New York. But then
Yeah,
you
but
also have to have
you
somebody
to
that
have a
could,
partner that's
right.
flexible enough
Right.
to be able to
And I was flexible.
Willing to do that,
Right.
comfortable with that
Exactly.
lifestyle.
And then, and I'm a
Financially
pretty,
able to
right.
do that.
Yeah, but and the other thing was I was financially able and I had the freedom. So if I had days off, I could have come to you.
Yeah.
But it takes a really different, strong-minded man to deal with a very strong, independent-minded woman.
Guys, I
Which
think this
we
is
can
where
talk
we're going. I
about.
think this is where we're
and
going
that's the
wrong,
trouble.
to be honest.
Like, it's got nothing to do with the fact that we like to do podcasts in our PJs, right? But I'm a strong-minded woman, right? And so I have a very happy, fulfilling life.
Uh-huh.
So for me, finding somebody that's going to make me happier than I make myself,
It's tricky.
right? And I don't need you to make me happier.
This is why it's girls' night
I just-
every night.
I just want you to, I just want you to match my happiness. I don't want you to make me unhappy, and I can make myself unhappy. So there's that, right?
Add
So
to my life. you
Right,
know,
right,
like
right.
doing
Don't
something, yeah.
subtract.
right, and so I always dated. I always attracted, and I don't know. I always felt like I always got what I wanted because I worked hard at it. Right, I never had an issue getting what I wanted, but working out what it is that I wanted was the issue. Right. But that's when I had to start being honest. Like, what do I want? I want somebody to share life with, right? So that's what. And when I did gain weight, I was on the road and I met this guy, but I never actually physically met. I was like on Tinder or something like that, right? And we
Calls the Tinder swindler.
no, right. We became friends, and I mean, I don't even have social media anymore. I don't have dating apps. I don't do all that. Like, I like experiences. I like authenticity. No, I do. Like, I literally do. Like, I'd rather meet you in life, right? Than online. So anyway, I was friends with this dude, and I remember I'd gained some weight, went to Australia, COVID happened, and we just started chatting and stuff again, and I put on all this weight. And after COVID, and when I came back to America, I flew out to meet him, and then I started seeing him, and then we dated, and then he actually was my first, like, I had a boyfriend when I in my 20s for a couple of years.
So he was your first boyfriend when you were, and you happened to be overweight at the time.
Right.
So how was it when you were overweight?
Well, I didn't really want to go out. Like, I didn't really want to take photos. Like, I felt uncomfortable, but he liked me like that.
You did?
Yeah, you know, and it
And was he with
weird.
you when you lost the weight?
No, I think I lost the weight after, but I have chatted to him since, and I don't know if he would even be attracted to me
Right.
smaller, right?
Yes.
And he's a good looking dude. Like, he's a buff dude.
Yeah,
Like, this
he
guy
looks
works out every day of the week. Like,
Yeah.
and I look at photos of us when we're together and I was heavy and I'm like, yeah, I'm so much better now.
Can I say, my ex-husband is a like buff, workout every day, like 8-pack constantly. And physically, how did that make you feel when you were the bigger? Because your ex, who was he also buff too? So we were all bigger girls at our heaviest with these buff guys.
What I always
So
sort of
He
How did
actually liked me when I was very big.
Same. My husband did
and
not want me to get the surgery.
Mine was a little bit different because I had this different sort of mentality of why would anybody like someone who looked like this? So
because you don't, because I don't.
because I didn't like, right? And I was
Mhm.
very resistant to that attention. And I always dismissed the attention. Oh, it's because their friend wants my friend. I'm the great wingman, or they're
Right.
drinking, or, whatever the case may be. I always dismissed it. So we had this sort of like interaction a few times when I was fat, but never like really went into it. And mostly up because of mine. I pushed away and I, made excuses or whatever. And we actually didn't really start dating until I had lost the weight
Mhm.
Because of you.
because of me.
Right.
But he felt the same way about me
Mm-hmm.
despite the, thing. But, granted, he was the same thing, top tier athlete, and very fit. And, again, why me? Because there's, we're in
Because you
Southern
like what you like.
California,
Yeah.
and they do. Everybody has their own taste. But my brain, especially when I was fat, couldn't wrap my head around somebody liking that because I hated it. so
Right.
much,
Yeah.
Right. So my dating life really expanded after I lost the weight.
Really? So how was dating after weight loss?
Weird because you probably all know, and I would think you like me maybe more so because we spent our lives like it. You get a whole new world of attention, male attention, female
Opposite
attention.
for me, Jodi.
Yeah.
Opposite.
So, people were kinder. They opened the
yeah?
door. They
Really?
talked to you more, but I also, I lived in this world where I had friends that called me fancy shoes because my thing was super cute high heels and very nice bags, but I hid my body,
Yes.
camouflaged my body.
Uh-huh.
So many people were like, you couldn't have been that big. I don't remember. I'm like, I knew how to wear the
I knew how
clothes.
to hide it.
I was the girl that styled all my friends.
But also, we don't, like, I remember Kayla, like, I've just always seen her this way. I didn't see her as bigger or smaller. I just always saw her.
Fabulous.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like this.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not that we
Because
don't
I
notice the
haven't,
difference.
my aesthetics hasn't changed. And I think that's probably for me, like the thing that's just been the thing my whole life. Like my aesthetic has always been the same, but my body's different. But I will say like after, separating from my husband, I did jump on, I think it was like Facebook dating. And yeah, there were a lot of guys sliding in, right? In the pictures, I just take whatever pictures, like blonde, and I got boobs done and that. And it was just so many guys that I've never got attention from before. Because I always get
'Cause it's a
attention from
different colour, it's a different
a particular type of guy has always kind of,
hit on you while you're big.
right. And then all these other guys, and I'm like, oh, it's probably because I look like a typical Vegas girl now, but I'm not a typical Vegas girl. But you know what I mean? So they would always think, and then they'll go, oh, what do you do for work? And I'm like, oh, social media. And they're like, oh, so OnlyFans? And I'm like, no. Or they'll think, oh, you waitress or cocktail. And I'm like, no.
Nothing.
It was like very surface level. So obviously I deleted all those apps. I only had one app. I only did the Facebook one, the Facebook dating, but and I never went on. I didn't go on a date. Like I was there, guys would be like, come over, you want to come over? Like, is this how it is?
That's
Like,
exactly what they tend
right.
to be.
And girls, like when I found my ex-husband now, but like internet dating wasn't a thing. I think maybe it was just kicking off at that point.
And it was kind of weird.
There was
on the internet.
There was no Tinder or anything. So this was my first experience with like an online dating thing. And I was like, is this it? Is this like
horrible?
This is terrible. Come over. I'm like, to do what? Like that the line in the Barbie movie. Oh, but I don't want you here. But yeah, so I'm like petrified. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's a tough time in general, I think, to date with the accessibility of technology and the internet and these dating apps. And maybe we are the lower percentage, the lesser percentage, in that we're looking for something substantial, something to share your life with, someone to
I think
be
that's
with.
the age
and
group as well
and
now.
the
We're not
vast majority of the people that are on dating apps are
hookups.
looking for, they want to do like a full online interview before they even decide they want to meet you.
Yeah.
And then, and they seem to always be looking for the next best thing because it's accessible.
Right.
So then you whittle down your options because you're looking for somebody who wants something similar. And that's hard to find, you know.
So here's my question. When you meet guys, do you tell them, hey, like I've had weight loss surgery? Because let's be honest, a lot of guys are like, let's go out for dinner. Do you let them know initially before you even meet them, or do you let them know on the first date? When do you tell?
What do you mean? I don't tell them anything.
You don't tell them at all?
What? Not really.
Jodi, do you?
No, I shared my journey a little different anyhow. I kept it very private for a while, and just in the last couple of years, made it more public that I actually had weight loss surgery, because most people in my life just kind of assumed I finally lost weight because of fit and that kind of stuff. What's interesting too is I don't have
your metabolism finally kicked in.
The opposite of how life works.
Right.
That didn't happen. I don't have the typical outside expressions of weight loss surgery. Like I don't have that restriction. I don't have the limitations on food or bubbles or things like that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I do. When I was an eater, like I could eat. Like,
you still can eat.
I mean, I definitely would get too full at 2 times, but I can sit down and have a regular meal, eat most of the plate, and so they're not going to know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
So you don't.
So I don't, not right out the gate. Yeah, but again, it's public, now. Yeah. So whatever they want to think or do.
I'll tell you something. So like on these apps, one of the first questions is, got IG? Because they want to see more photos of you, right?
Yeah.
And my IG is all
weight loss
before and after, and then so sometimes I would just go, oh, no, I don't, but every now and then, like if the convo was like, okay, I was like, oh yeah, I have IG, and then they'll see, and I never hear from them again.
Really?
Yep.
100%. Wow.
100%.
When I dabbled in those dating apps, I actually didn't tell them weight loss surgery, but I did tell them that I have lost a significant amount of weight, or it was on even my profile.
Some men are very turned off by that. I think they think with that comes, obviously loose skin, which it does, or whatever, that their mindset of you immediately shifts and it's a turn off.
Well, I mean, but also, hang on a second. I went with you to the bodybuilding competition and the transformation competition with you when you went to Atlanta to compete in that thing, right? Yeah. And in your head, you were like, I don't deserve to be here.
Oh, it was
right.
I would call out immediately.
Right. But I was sitting next to people that had been competing, right? And those people were sitting there going, we do this for 2 months to compete in this competition. Like, we have so much admiration for somebody like you who has been doing this constantly for 2 years to get where you're at. We have nothing but praise, right? So you've got the people that are like, oh, I don't want to, this is what she was before. And then you've got the complete opposite end of the spectrum that go, I know how much dedication it took to get to this.
Yeah, I'm not saying everyone's going to be like that, but in the online dating world, a lot of them would see the Instagram and they'd be like, nope.
I'm kind of lucky, right? Because I don't have Instagram, right? And I feel like I was like this before and I was like this after. So, and I don't think it's any of anybody's business what the hell I do. Do you know what I mean? So if I'm not afraid of talking about it, like I said, I don't have Instagram. I don't have social media. Kayla does it all. So when she documents my journey, that's when people find out about it. Do you know what I mean? But
okay, what about your facelift? Did you tell people you've had a facelift?
No. Well, I mean, you did. So people, right? Because I'm like, she's like, can I film this? And I'm like,
you got recognized at Australia Airport, I'm like, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did. I was like, oh okay. I thought it was by a customs agent, right? She's like, can you just take off your glasses? And I'm like, oh, here we go. I was checking in to like fly back to the US and she's like, I recognize you from blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, oh God, I thought she was trying to like match the passport, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice.
That's when you know you do your job well.
Yeah, right. But like I said, don't have social media, don't care to broadcast it to everybody, not looking for recognition, don't really care whether or not you approve of my life or you don't. Like I'm a fit, like, I have my own set of standards and stuff.
Which is a great way to...
Right? And I'm oblivious to most things and I'm okay. Like even Kayla said to me, you said something to me last night, haven't you seen the blah, 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 the this board? And I'm like, well, how would I see that? Like, I don't really know.
Guys, no, it was the Epstein files. I'm like, don't
No,
you know what's
listen.
happening? She's like, how am I supposed to know?
Right,
You
listen.
follow a little bit of news.
No, I don't watch news. I don't have
Who's
social
Epstein?
media.
Like, she has no
I have
clue what's
Netflix.
going
I
on
don't
in the
have
world.
regular TV. Do you know what I mean?
She knows
Like,
what's going on in Love is Blind, though.
I'm
but,
like, listen. I'm like, listen. Okay, well, even with Epstein, whatever it is, right? Like, you know that things exist. I have my own opinions about a lot of things, right? If you don't think that these things exist, you're crazy. Of course they do. There's so many things that happen. I think people form their own opinions, and I think that with social media. I think that about dating. I think about whatever.
Okay, so let's go into dating. Now that you ladies are about to be approaching 50, are you going to be? You don't care. Are you going to be approaching dating any kind of differently? What's the goal for you guys?
I think mine is the same that it's been once I learned to love myself and wanted to have a person.
Wait, you say learn to love yourself or learned?
Yeah,
so
learn.
You still don't?
No,
or?
I do.
Okay.
I did. I mean, I definitely love myself more. I have an appreciation of it. We all have I wish I could still do this, that, and the other. But no, like once I learned to love myself, what I wanted was clear. And it's very much what Nicole said was just, somebody to share your life with, a partner, somebody to, be present in your situation. That is unchanged, the timeline's a little different, right? Like I'm not, if I was in my 20s, I could date somebody for 7 years to decide if I, you know what you want, you settle for less, SHIT.
Yes.
You have to kind of have to be focused. And I, coming into being single again now, you go, it sounds like maybe I'm being a little too picky, but I'm just not going to settle.
Right. And you're not going to just date around. You're going to be very selective with who you're dating.
I'm not going to, yeah. I mean, if you're not trying to have the same end goal as me, great. Go do your thing. It's fine. That's just not for me.
Yeah.
Right.
If you are uncomfortable with my career or my financial situation, that's going to become an issue in our relationship. I don't have time for that either. You know?
Do you want to get married?
Sure. I mean, yes.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, partner for life, whether the certificate is involved or not. Yep. No, I mean, there's parts of wanting to get married that I do. I want my dad to walk me down the aisle.
Yeah.
I want to have the party. Can you imagine the fun we would have, trouble we would have?
Look, I got an idea, girls. Just throwing it out there. We can all just have the party and the dress and the aisle.
Right.
Yeah, but I want
to
the partner.
marry ourselves.
But
No,
the
but
after
that's how I live my life.
the party is fun.
Yeah.
The certificate not necessarily absolutely necessary, although the legal aspect of it could play into factor financially and whatnot. But the forever person, I want a forever person.
You do want a forever person?
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine the end of my life without a forever person.
Right.
So.
And I think me, like I said, I've dated and seen a lot of people, but it's so much nicer when it's just one. Like I want to concentrate on just one person.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I think that I'm not going to do anything differently. I'm not going to change who I am. At the end of the day, like I'm a confident person. I am who I am. And you need to like me for me. And if you don't, like, I feel sorry for you. No, I do. No, I really do because like I'm that confident. I'm a good person at the end of the day. For me, like if I can go to bed at the end of the day and go to sleep knowing that I'm a good person, that's the only thing that matters, right? So you will be lucky to have me in your life, right? I don't need, like I said, any validation. I don't need you to tell me how good I already know. I just do. Like, and that's not it. It's not cocky.
No,
I mean? Like I'm okay with the person that I am. And I am, and I've always been this way. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like if I come into your life, like, you're going to benefit. We're going to benefit. Like I do want somebody to be beside me. I do want to live this great life. I do have a really good one. I want you to have a good one too. I want to have a better one together.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? But I want it to be with one person. My biggest thing is loyalty. And my biggest thing is trust. If I can trust you and you're loyal, like loyalty over everything for me. So I just want somebody that is that loyal, that I can connect with like that. Do you know what I mean? And physically, because the physical aspect is a really big part of that for me as well, and connection and chemistry and all that sort of stuff. So,
but the connection and the chemistry brings the physical into it too, I think. Like it improves it.
Right, absolutely. And if I can concentrate that on one person rather than just giving it out to not everybody, but you know what I mean? Like it's definitely my goal. Do you know what I mean? So do I want to find it with that one person? Yeah, absolutely. I want to be in love. I want to find those things, but I'm not going to change who I am. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to online date. I'm not going to do that. Hopefully it's organically and that's it.
You know what I found? I found with myself, I try to prove my worth way too much in a relationship.
I think
because you know it, that you have it, but you feel like,
and also because I feel like I'm trying to make up for like, I still in my head, I'm like, I'm not 100% secure with my body. Like I'm not. So I am in my body insecure. Like I really am, especially when it comes to like physical and intimacy and stuff like that. So for me, I feel like I overcompensate in other ways in a relationship where I'm doing the most. I'm doing so much, and I feel like it's to always, because I like my love language is like acts of service and like gift giving. You know what I mean?
That's what you like to do for other people.
That's what I like to do.
Right, but
so
what's
how I want to receive
how
I want to receive it is words of affirmation. You know what I mean? Like I love that. Like,
but you know what
it
is?
Validation.
Do you know what it is for you? I think I think that you should do the most for everybody. Like you absolutely should.
Because I genuinely want to. But I also feel like there's a part that fuels me for doing the most because I feel like I'm lacking in the physical.
But you know what? But what it is, you need to get your mind right.
No, 100%.
It's just the mind. Because everything else that you've got, you are doing the most, but you've got to do it for the people that deserve it, right?
Yeah, but no, I just feel like the overcompensating is because I've always been in a bigger body.
I don't know that it is. I don't know that if you didn't have those issues, that you wouldn't still do the same stuff though. That's what we are. We are these strong, independent women that bring a lot to the table, and that's the way that you show love and you give love and who you are,
right?
But
it's a mindset change.
But it is the mindset change. Like I think you think it's too much because of your insecurities, or maybe you think you're trying too much. But I think that's kind of innately who you would be.
But like nowadays everyone's like princess treatment. Like the guy has to do this for me. The guy has to do that for me. The guy has to do this for me. I'm like, oh, I must be the guy because I'm the one that's always
I feel like I'm the guy too.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I will be you can be the passenger princess. Oh, I got the bill. Oh, I've got this. And I'm like, is that masculine energy or is that me doing too much to try and prove my worth?
No, it's not. It's not doing too much to prove your worth. That she was a person.
Yeah.
That's the way we
Those
are.
things make me happier than them doing the same for me.
I agree. But then somebody said to me once,
look at us, guys. That's 40 and 50 and we're single.
Yeah, but we're good people. Yeah. I could be married and unhappy.
Right. Or married to the wrong person.
Well,
right.
I had that.
Right. So just listen, somebody said to me, you're going to be single when you're 50. Is that a bad thing?
No.
Is it?
I don't.
Like, why are you saying to me like that's negative? Yeah. Like, if I'm 50 and I'm single and I'm happy, look, at the end of the day, my goal in life is to be happy. Right? If that's happy with you or that's happy by myself, at the end of the day, I've still reached my goal.
No, but you also said that you want to share your life with
I do. I do. But like I said, I am happy. Yeah. So you need to make me happier or as happy as I make myself. If we could do this together, that would be awesome.
Ladies,
right?
You know what? I think we need a part 2 of this. We're running into like overtime at this point. But I think we've only just scraped the surface about dating and like our worth and like learning our worth. Do you guys want to come back and do this again?
Can we wear our pajamas?
We will. We'll figure out different pajamas. Maybe we'll do.
We'll wear the same. Maybe we'll wear the same so it feels like it's the same episode.
No, because I feel like this is such a topic that's not really talked about, especially after weight loss surgery, and especially just like women of age or just.
And I just think I feel like I have a different opinion than most people.
Right.
I don't think you do. I think you just have a really good frame of mind going into it.
Yes.
Right.
And that is what I think some of us that have a different struggle in life, whether it's weight loss or
but that's also
a physical attribute or a mental attribute, whatever.
But also that's not always a blessing either, because like that's not always received very well.
I also want to talk about like, we're running out of time, but I also want to talk about like, why do relationships end after weight loss surgery? What happens to us? What happens to our brain? What happens to our mental? We know what happens to our physical, but like, what is it that we tend to, usually what happens is the person that's had the weight loss, they're the ones that
Enough's
find
enough.
their voice and find their worth and tend to walk away.
I do agree they find their voice, maybe tend to walk away. But I think one of the other big things is that the other people in your life, whether relationship, friend, family, colleague, whatever, they can't find a place for you in their life as a thin person.
Yeah.
You know, you were just this.
You're this new
bigger
person to them now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're
And
like, where
then
did the old Jodi go?
They turn it on you and say, "Oh, you're a different person now." I'm like, no, I'm the person that I
I'm the
was
same person.
trying to be my whole life, and
Now you look like it.
I
Right.
love that. I
None
love
of
that.
the
Well,
outside matches.
let's touch on that on the next part 2 of love after weight loss surgery. Not love after, love after weight loss surgery. Let's touch on that because I feel like we're going to dive deep in this rabbit hole, ladies.
There's lots to talk about.
There's lots. All right, so stay tuned. We'll do this again, hopefully still in our
Soon.
PJs. But thank you guys for joining and let us know in the comments, you know, how has dating been for you after weight loss surgery? Let us know if you're still married, if you're better than ever, or if you are, you know, single and ready to mingle. Or if you want to mingle with any of these two ladies, because I'm not ready. I'm not ready. You want to mingle with any of these two ladies, let us know in the comments. We'll make something work.
Will you ever be ready though? So if it happens, it happens.
Oh, thanks. We'll see. All right, guys. We'll catch you next week on Bariatrics and Beyond. Bye.
Bye.